Alright, so let's see what kind of straight line performance we got. Climbing, 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 and gear shift. This is just so much fun. Hello everybody, this is Mike with Byrnz Rubber, and today we're reviewing a very special and unique car, something that I typically don't review on this channel, but it's just so quirky, so fun, and such a great car that I have to review it. I absolutely had to get into it, and I had to review it. Now this is actually a good friend of mine's, Gabriel Vasquez's 2004 Daihatsu HiJet K-Truck, and you can see there's a lot of custom work that's been done to it, you know, just a lot of nice cosmetic things, and does have a nice little tone to it as well too. You can probably hear that through the microphone. So we're going to kind of see how she drives and take it for a spin. Now, first things off, it's not the fastest car out there, nor is it the best handling machine or anything else of that matter. It's just a straight, fun, just a quirky type of car. Now, I just love the close cockpit to it. Now, every K-Truck is actually over the wheel, as you can say, and it is quite the different experience. I do have quite the smaller wheel, and it's not necessarily a truck, but it's not necessarily a car. It's just kind of a weird hybrid between the two. Now, the history of the K-Truck itself is quite the interesting one. Now, in 1949, Japan government actually established the built for this car, and they actually allowed Japanese people to actually have a car that actually had a different type of registration. Now, it didn't necessarily register as a full car, but it did register as a utilitarian type of vehicle, which was the interesting part there. Now, what's really cool is that they actually had to have certain dimensions, so they can't necessarily just have the full car lengths or anything like that. They actually had to be a certain width, a certain height, and also a certain length for it to be actually classified as a K car or K truck. Also, another thing that's really cool about this truck is that you can pretty much use it for anything. I mean, Japanese people actually use it for farming, they use it for hauling equipment, and really it's just a very simple car. I mean, it has, actually it's limited to, in the production, to only have at maximum 660cc motor. What is that exactly? Well, that's 0.6 liters, you know, for kind of the small little conversion there. And another neat part about it is that, you know, it has a 3-cylinder motor. It's kind of the same motor that you actually use in a motorcycle. So if you could imagine that, that's pretty interesting. Now, also another thing that's really neat is that because of the fact that it is, well, has a motorcycle engine in it, it doesn't take much to move it. It literally just is so light that, you know, if you floor it, it screams a little bit, but you know what? It gets up there in speed, so it's not too bad. And it's a really neat ride, and actually handles pretty well. It handles actually significantly well for something that is a K-Truck. Surprisingly, it's actually not too bad, really responsive. Now, of course, he's done some work with his as well too, so it actually does have a couple different things on it. I mean, it does have a little bit wider tires, it does have different rims on there, as well as he has a 3-inch straight piped exhaust, as you can probably hear right here. So it, you know, again, it just kind of is one of those like hooligans. That's actually a good thing that I can call this car. I can call this car a hooligan because it absolutely is one. It makes all kinds of noises. It is just a very interesting car because it's just the sound and the way that it's just so small. Now again, it doesn't necessarily feel like a jet fighter, but in terms of being cramped, it definitely feels like a jet fighter. So it's pretty cool. So what's really cool about it is that actually a lot of people actually take it back stateside. Now there is a 25-year rule of taking imported cars back to the United States before they can be legalized without a lot of restrictions and everything else. But some people took this car back and just used it for farming or used it for just hauling equipment around, which is really interesting because, you know, they're able to actually like just use it for anything utilitarian, and people just didn't give a crap. You didn't have to just register. It's technically an off-road vehicle, so you can totally have it on your farm or your land and be completely fine. Now, actually, there's 2 other states that you can actually use this before the 25-year rule. Is actually Louisiana and Oklahoma actually allows you to drive this car on the highway, which is really cool. So because, you know, for over there, you can technically ride an actual ATV on the highway, and that's considered what this car is. It's actually a recreational vehicle, if you can believe it or not. Even though in Japan, people respect this as a daily driver, a utilitarian truck, something that they actually drive on public roads, as you can see that we're doing here today. So it's really just an interesting type of car. Now, it's really cool what Gabe actually did with the K-Truck is that he actually souped it up. Now, again, it doesn't have like major modifications. It doesn't have like a turbocharger or anything else. Again, you still have the stock naturally aspirated 3-cylinder motor, but what's really cool is that he actually did a bunch of work with the cowling. He did the side skirts. He actually gave it a whole new paint job as well too. So it's got this nice, cool metallic gray on the exterior. It's actually, these kind of grays actually are one of my favorite type of colors out there. Then he actually did the interior. As you can see, it's got nice leather seats right here. It has a steering wheel that actually does have the line on top. It's got the racing line on top, which is really cool. The thing about this truck is that, again, it's not anything built for handling. It's not a crazy carving monster or anything like that. Unlike the R32 that I reviewed not so long ago, this is nowhere near it. So, but at the same time, it's just a fun truck to drive. Like, this is just one of those like really cool cruise cars. You can just like cruise along. You know, it's got enough utility enough to it so you can just haul stuff back and forth. But it's just a fun experience to drive. It's not too bouncy. It's not too all over the place. And for as light as it is, one of my first thoughts that I thought about before is that, well, it's so light, like it's got to be like bumpy, it's got to jump around, it's going to handle like kind of like whatever, the steering's not going to be great. But actually, I'm very surprised that the steering, the way that it feels, the way that it actually drives is relatively smooth. It's actually not too bad. It doesn't shake you to death or anything like that. It's just a fun ride. All right, so let's see how much power unlocks when I turn off the air conditioner. Oh yeah, it's far more responsive. Look at that. And as soon as you turn on the air conditioning, oh, I lost a bit of power. Now, the thing is, it's not the most powerful car. So, you know, when you actually put the air conditioning on this particular car, it actually loses about 1/3 of its power, which is kind of funny. But I mean, it's still manageable by any means. But it's just, it loses some power, so it's not really, you know, acceleration-wise, it's might take a bit of time. All right, so let's do a little bit of a brake test. Yep, stops pretty good. I mean, it is light, so you know, even without the best stopping power, it definitely stops well. Man, this car is an absolute hoot. It's just so much fun. There's just this fun factor to it. I mean, I kind of want to own one of these. I mean, this is just like cool. I mean, if I were like to own one of these, I would definitely like lift it, put some off-road tires on it, maybe change out the actual engine, and you know, to actually just have as a little off-road racer. I think it'd be pretty cool. Now, what's really awesome is that most people do not soup these cars up. This is a very uncommon car to soup up. People, of course, soup up other types of JDMs like Supras, RX-7s, you know, all these different sport-known cars. This one is not known for sportiness by any means, but again, Gabriel did such a fantastic job with it. You know, him and his family really just went through the car, redetailed everything out, and they actually, you know, again, put all the parts in there, paint job, all the cowlings. He's got a nice power liftgate back there, got a nice Kenwood audio system in here, so he made all the creature comforts happen in this car, which is pretty awesome. There's actually a big culture of souping up these K-trucks, believe it or not. Mainland Japan actually is really big on it. They'll have like hydraulic systems systems. They'll have all kinds of like airlift systems and everything. They put like audio in it. They'll put like the whole entire back trunk of just like huge speakers and everything else. So it's crazy that there's actually some type of cult following for this car, even though it's not even classified as one of those, you know, iconic JDM cars. And I think that by itself is really cool. Now, I've had just an absolute hoot with this car. I've had such a great time in this. Now, Gabe has done such a good job at upgrading all these things and, you know, making this car just a really cool car to drive around. Nice paint job, nice body kit, nice wheels, and you just really made this a comfortable ride. So I think I give him huge kudo points for it, because honestly, it's probably one of the only ones on the island that is actually souped up. So kudo points for him to take on this type of project. It is a pretty awesome car. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this quick little review of this 2004 Daihatsu HiJet. Now, this is just one of the funnest little trucks that I've ever driven. It's such a quirky little car, and I absolutely had a blast today. And I want to give a big shout out to Gabe and his family for letting me drive the car and review it here today. And also, a side note, I want to thank you guys so much for all the awesome support that I've had from the channel. I've had a lot more views from all my videos, and from my Skyline video all the way through some of my events. So I do really appreciate the support. Now, I will have some future content coming up on the channel as well too. So I do have a couple car reviews, and I do have a couple of car events. So make sure to stay tuned. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any future content. And also, if you did like this video particularly, make sure to hit that like button as well. And also, if you guys want to leave any comments on the bottom below, that'll be awesome, because I can get some suggestions for some next videos. If I can get some feedback from what you guys actually thought about this review or some of my other videos, or suggestions overall for any other future content that you actually want to see from my channel particularly. So again, I really appreciate the support, and until next time, I will see you guys later. Acceleration run. And shift. This thing's so much fun.